I think, Matt, this is bullish and has been for many of these big box retailers. But can it last, given the fact that the market has priced in such a huge upside already in many of these stocks?
I think it can. Good morning, by the way, Dom. I think it can last. What you also saw yesterday, you talked about Walmart's strength yesterday and an outstanding quarter for them, but you didn't talk about Kohl's. And Kohl's actually had a pretty bad quarter. And where Target's getting its market share from, its growth from, its gains from, is from the weaker retail players that are positioned a little bit more up channel from it. And that's namely Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and companies like that. So when we're thinking about the future and the sustainability of what you're seeing right now, which by the way is historic. It's historic what you saw at Walmart yesterday, and it likely will be historic today with Target. What you're likely going to see is a sustainable growth at Target because they're taking that from other retailers that just won't be here or will be here in much smaller quantities next year.
So Matt, what exactly is the driving force behind that move? Is it just the pandemic? Is it the idea that these particular retailers like Kohl's or JCPenney were already selling similar merchandise to what, say, a Target would here? Is that the reason why they're moving from those stores and chains up to a Target?
I think what you hit the nail on the head there, Dom. So for the last 3 years, Target has been taking market share from JCPenney and Kohl's. And what COVID did was just accelerate this, right? You're now hearing that JCPenney's closing stores, Macy's is closing stores, Victoria's Secret is closing stores. I'll remind you, just a couple of years ago, Victoria's Secret got out of their swimwear business. Target got into the swimwear business and immediately became the #1 swimwear destination in America. So we've already seen Target become very good and adept at taking market share from these retailers. And COVID just accelerated what was ultimately going to probably happen anyway.
So when it comes to Target, then, let's look ahead to the report that we're going to see. Let's assume that it's in the same kind of realm or universe that what Home Depot and Walmart reported yesterday. This is a stock near record highs. Is it now priced to perfection? Will we see the same kind of slowing momentum, at least at the top, that we saw with Walmart and Home Depot shares in trading yesterday?
When I think about Target, it's a little bit different than the other names that you talked about. We like Home Depot very much as well. The difference with Target, though, is that there is just a substantial amount of market share out there from Target to take from that's considered weak. So we've actually calculated just in apparel alone, there's about $100 billion of market share of weaker apparel retailers that likely those shoppers, those consumers have nowhere else to go. And when you go into home furnishings, that's $50 billion there too. That's more than double what Target does right now in sales. So we do think that from a visibility perspective into next year, Target likely can actually continue to comp positive, even up on what we expect a 20 comp, as high as a 20 comp. I mean, our estimates in 11, but whispers are as high as a 20 comp this quarter. We believe Target can actually continue to comp positive next year because, again, there still is going to be further store closures from those players. And this is a little bit different than say, a Home Depot, where it's a little bit more difficult for them to take market share, given that they already have dominant market share in the products they sell. Now they have to actually sell more products. It requires a lot of investments in their One Home Depot initiative. So over time, Home Depot can continue to comp and go growth. But Target actually has an opportunity to do this in the near term.
That sales growth at established store locations, those so-called same-store sales, were mind-boggling in my mind over analyst expectations for both Walmart and for Home Depot as well. Let's say Target gets those. The other number that stood out to me for Walmart was the digital or e-commerce traffic that they are seeing right now. How good is Target at competing with the likes of Walmart and, of course, Amazon.com?
Well, you saw it last quarter that Target put up a growth rate similar to, if not better than Walmart in their own e-commerce business. Now, they're a smaller e-commerce business, to be clear, so let's not ignore that fact. However, when you think about what Walmart is doing with its growth, Target's doing the same thing. Walmart has something called grocery pickup. You drive up to the store, they come out, they put groceries in your store, and you're in your car, and you drive away. It's very simple, very easy. Target has the same thing. They have Drive Up, where you go and you do the same thing. They're the only two stores out there, the only two retailers that really have this capability, and that's where a lot of their growth is coming from. Now, Walmart called out that they are having triple-digit growth in all of their digital businesses, e-commerce included, ship to home included. We would expect Target to do the same exact thing because consumers are getting accustomed to shopping at Target and buying the Target brands.
What exactly is going to be CEO Brian Cornell's biggest challenge heading into now the holiday shopping season, now that the back-to-school season is pretty much a foregone conclusion?
I think the biggest challenge for Brian is going to be the supply chain. and logistics, and making sure that they deliver on their promise for when they say that that package is going to get there to you, consumer, that it does get there. Now, they have some abilities to kind of work with this, Drive Up being one of them, where they don't really ship it to your house, so it doesn't have to go through that type of supply chain. But I think when we get to the holiday season, Target and Walmart too, and everybody else, we've already seen that consumers are consolidating their shopping trips to only a couple of retailers. So the volume, the sheer volume of sales that are likely going to go through those retailers will be so high that it could create fits and puts and starts in their supply chain.